I was going to say, I forget how I start these things anymore, but surprise everyone, it's your boys. Just Russ, Pass, and Walton. We're dropping Peachy from it now. With Paperwork Podcast. I literally forget how I start these podcast episodes.
We're back. I expected something big. Well,
I was building it up in my head so much that I blew my load way too early. Oh my God.
It has been a long time.
It's been a long time. You and I haven't spoken a word to each other in that entire time. Rushface, how are you doing today? Let me forget manners.
I'm fantastic. Pretty big news today, so I'm kind of excited to talk about it.
I know. And the reason why we, wanted to come back, I'm doing fine as well. Life's moving on.
I just assumed.
Yeah, but we figured the Democratic national debates tonight, so that's what we wanted to live stream it and discuss it. That's why you wanted to come on, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I can say this, and I'm assuming you'll get the reference, but leave it to this corporation that takes blood money to take us out of our hiatus sooner than we want it to by upstaging us from our huge episode next week that is likely coming next week was our first episode back. They had to upstage us, and they brought us back way too soon.
It's like announcing
our charity event next weekend.
Oh, okay, I get what you're doing. I get what you're doing now. Which, by the way, I'd want to go to Evolve 113 now. I think it's 113. The 10th anniversary show looks so good.
I actually was wanting to go because I think Ciampa was actually one of the meet and greets, and I was like, if I'm ever going to do one at these things, I would love to go see him. And then I realized I'm down the shore that weekend anyway.
Yeah,
I literally was like getting ready to text you and Jared and say, fuck it, we're going.
Yeah, I think.
And then I was like, oh, wait, I'm going to be down the shore.
Well, I went to NXT, and that's when they announced the Matt Riddle-Drew Gulak match.
Yeah.
Because I went to the NXT show live in Philly. Gulak got a better reception than Kushida, which was hilarious to me. It was incredible to absolutely watch. We're not just talking about, we're just rehashing some, we haven't been on the air.
It's been a while.
Yeah. A lot is happening in the wrestling world. We did watch Double or Nothing live together for the most part. You missed the main event, which was a good main event, and the return of Jon Moxley.
Yeah, we would have probably kind of live streamed that if it wasn't for me. I kind of had a feeling I was going to miss the very end of the show. Didn't realize it was going to be the last hour of the show. It was an hour longer than even I had expected.
Yeah, I had brought my gear to record live just in case.
Yeah, it was my fault. Usually I can blame you for things. That was my fault. I said no from the beginning.
Well,
the funny thing is, I actually didn't watch that main event for a couple days and was actually able to stay away from social media enough where that wasn't spoiled for me. Jon Moxley.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know how the hell it happened. I expected there not to be any run-in at the end because I didn't see anything. I'm thinking, I accidentally see shit on social media. Things accidentally pop up on my phone. And I made it, I want to say, a good 2-3 days, I think, without hearing about it before I finally seen that main event.
It was a good main event.
Oh, yeah.
It was a solid main event. I kind of predicted, I figured Jericho was going to get the win just because it's not like when they were in New Japan to where Jericho's coming in for a one-off. They have these long-term deals that they can build this out, so Jericho can definitely get the win now. What else has happened? I mean, WWE has shit the bed since then.
No, that's kind of. I mean, that leads into what we're going to be talking about today.
So let's jump right into it. So, what year is it? Because right now, I don't like. Toy Story is the #1 movie in America. Men in Black and Godzilla are in the theaters, and I live with my mom, so I don't know what year it is right now because WWE announced today that Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman are running SmackDown and Raw.
Yeah.
So Heyman has Raw, Bischoff has SmackDown.
The official title is executive director?
Yes, and that is legitimate. I was reading on it. It's not some TV position or something like that. They're in charge of it, and the way I heard it read was similar to how Triple H is in charge of NXT. these guys are going to be in charge of these respective shows.
Yeah, I had seen it and thought, I forget the name of that website, the Kayfabe News or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I actually had thought it was Kayfabe News, and I had to click on, 3 different links until I finally, was like, okay, this is legitimate. I even checked the date on it, because I'm wondering, is somebody passing around something from years ago? The only thing I worry about a little bit is this being surface only.
The one thing I read before we got on was the reason it took a little while to actually announce, because this had to get approved by the WWE Board of Directors because of the power that Heyman and Bischoff are getting.
Right.
So, this is legitimate. Eric Bischoff has a weekly television program again. Paul Heyman.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's funnier than that is Paul Heyman does. I know Heyman's been with the company, but
So you want the
he's had so many issues in the past that
You want the kayfabe news story?
Yeah. Vince
McMahon steps down, names Dixie Carter as successor. I love kayfabe news. So this is what a PW Insider reported that Bischoff signed 2 weeks ago, but had to be created within the hierarchy, and they had to be approved by the board of directors, given their importance. So this is crazy. This is what here's the thing though. This is what WWE needed. They needed to shake something up, and hopefully it's what's shaking it up. I don't know what this is going to be. The wild card rule has been terrible. Because my issue with the wild card rule, and this is why I always loved the brand split, was because you have 3 hours for one set of programming and then 2 hours for a full other set of programming. Now you have 5 hours of basically the same programming that goes from Raw to SmackDown. So, Kofi Kingston's on... And, listen, I love Kofi as champion, but it means more when I only see him on SmackDown or Raw on one of the shows, and I don't feel I don't want to see him all the time. That's what killed it before, because they just continued the same story over these 5 hours and not creating any, new type of individual stories.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and it defeats the purpose of having such a big roster. I know they feel like maybe they were splitting things too thin, and they feel like they need to rely on certain guys to be on both shows and stuff, but I don't think they realize that that's not the problem. They have the guys right now that people want to see. It's about execution.
We literally just had a match at a pay-per-view, Samoa Joe versus Ricochet. It's come on.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I think the matches lining up for Extreme Rules are going to be pretty good as well.
Right. Yeah, I know. I just can't help but be skeptical. It's WWE. I feel like one, it may be in response to the Moxley Jericho interview. Where Moxley kind of, I know we haven't been around to even talk about that.
Did you listen to
Moxley it? Kind of, I listened to the beginning portion, and then I fell asleep. It was when I got home from work, and I was laying down listening to it, and it was good, and then I fell asleep.
It was very different. So I listened to the whole thing. It was very different than the CM Punk one. So that's where it got a lot of comparison to the Punk Colt Cabana podcast, because they were both shitting on the company. Moxley, he didn't he just shit on the storyline. He didn't shit on and the writers and stuff like that, and essentially Vince McMahon, and it wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. It wasn't he wasn't bad mouthing anybody. It was just on the storylines, not even the writers he was shitting on during it.
Yeah.
It was they all just kind of know what they had to do.
Yeah, and that's he kind of was like they all kind of knew who Vince was, and even kind of like made it sound like some of them he knew just went up there and they knew they were going to get disapproved by him because Vince is Vince and he likes what he likes, and maybe it's that they don't have enough people there with enough balls to stand up to him, and maybe they lost all the people that had enough balls to stand up with him. And that's where a lot of the skepticism comes from. I almost feel like this is a move made to show that, hey, Vince can give up some control. Vince doesn't need to be all about it. He is about the fans. The product is going to be for the fans. Isn't this what everybody wants? Is Bischoff and Heyman?
I don't know. I don't know if
I'm a little shocked that it's Bischoff and Heyman, to be honest with you, just because wouldn't logic say Triple H and Heyman? I mean, in my mind, wouldn't, and I've realized Triple H, and that may have been an offer, and Triple H, I feel like
he probably didn't want to give up.
He doesn't gain anything by running either one of these shows right now. He doesn't.
Well, I think that's why I think he wanted to stay.
He's already the head of NXT. He has, if he comes and he doesn't turn SmackDown or Raw into NXT, then he's a failure. But right now, he's already like this genius that developed NXT.
But that's the thing. He would have turned it into NXT. It wouldn't be something new. Like, listen, Heyman and Bischoff haven't been in charge of a weekly television show in how long? Over close to 20 years at this point. And
the thing I just read too right before we came on was that they're going to ease them into the role, and that ultimately it's still Vince McMahon's decisions.
Well, that's the same thing with NXT.
Yeah, but Vince, I'm sure, will still watch Raw and SmackDown.
He'll still probably be there.
He's already kind of admitted that he doesn't watch NXT. So I don't know that I just don't know that they're going to have full control when it comes down to it. Now, the one crazy part is Kofi Kingston's now been the champion for 80 days,
and he's been a great champion.
But like, that's not the typical champion, especially not at WrestleMania. You know, you hear all those, and I can only go off of a lot of CM Punk stories where like Heyman was a lead writer or whatever at the time, and or whatever, he was somewhere in backstage, and he was pushing for Punk to come out. I think it was the Elimination Chamber. He wanted Punk to just beat everybody, and that was the whole thing, that he just wanted him to come out. And you know what? I think it might have been the Bruce Pritchard something else to wrestle with or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Episode where he talks about it, and he talks about how Heyman would come in and say CM Punk should beat this person, that person, this person, and I think he wanted him to come into like the Elimination Chamber and beat everybody, but Lashley was Vince McMahon's guy, and I think Punk loses like first in that match.
Oh yeah, he gets thrown out first, and he was the champion, I believe.
And that was the reason behind it, was that Heyman was pushing so hard for it. Now, how long until something like that happens? Again, I can only be skeptical. What happens if ratings don't go up right away? It says they're going to ease them in the role. Let's say we give them a couple months, right?
I think SummerSlam. Like, okay. SummerSlam is a very natural like starting point. Like, I could even see them doing another draft. Like, I could see, like, hey, we put these roles in, we did the draft, it was the wild card rule, it was the Wild West or whatever like that. We're going to do the draft now.
Yeah,
like, do a new draft. And, like, do a old school actual draft. Like,
and I would love for them to kind of have control over who's on what show. That would be nice. But the moment it doesn't work, you know, how long of a leash are they going to have? The moment they disagree with what Vince does, you know, again, I'm just skeptical. I'm hoping they become on-air talent. As far as the roles, I don't know, because does it really benefit Paul Heyman with the Lesnar thing? But then, on the flip side, can you have Paul Heyman come out now that people know what role he holds, and act like he has nothing to do with booking, you know? Can he really come out and say, my client, wants his title shot, when you're thinking, dude, you run Raw.
Yeah, but that makes him an even better heel, I think. I think
it does if they make him an on-air talent.
Yeah, well,
I'm saying I hope they don't go into it trying to ignore it completely, unless Lesnar ultimately moves to SmackDown.
So, real fast, and sorry to cut you off, and I just noticed something. Is that a Diva pop you got in the back there?
Oh yeah, it's the blue one.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
It dropped down to like $23 or something like that on Amazon, or 26.
So for those that play the home game, Diva is a character in the game Overwatch. It's one of my favorites. I have the Diva Funko Pop, but I have her in her pink suit.
Yes, and I got the nice, I think it's Walmart blue one.
It's not bad. I like the pink one a little bit better, but I like the collector's ones. So
the funny thing is, I keep it in the box, and it's pink in the box on the box.
Yeah, that's what I looked. I was looking over your shoulder, and I was like, "Wait, that's Diva." So we can see where my head's currently at.
Yeah, thank you for listening to me.
No problem. I was listening to you. No, yeah, you're right. Listen, this is something new.
Yeah.
We've always had on-air,
Wait. Think about what you just said. Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff running a wrestling show is new. It's just funny to hear that right now.
In 2019. But, it's weird because this is completely new. We've had, obviously, Bischoff and Heyman, I think, was a general manager of SmackDown at some point, or I saw actually a funny quote or something someone online said, the Invasion played the long game and they ultimately won. But, we don't know how this is going to actually play out because this type of control has never been given out before. So we don't know exactly how much of a leash Vince is going to have with him. And that's true, especially with Raw. Raw's his baby, even though SmackDown's going to Fox. I think Fox has a lot to do with it. I think Fox wanted something different, and Fox wanted possibly Fox wanted their own show because they probably didn't want to be sharing the talent with the USA Network, essentially NBC.
Right.
So
I don't think they did.
Yeah, so that's going to be very interesting. So I think this is all setting up for that, which is all ultimately good, I think, because I think it's going to be different. I think a lot of I don't want to say the Moxley interview was also, and just as always side note, I've been thinking about this. Is it kind of comical how we immediately went from calling him Dean Ambrose to John Moxley with not even a bat of the eye, not even a question? It's now Moxley now.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's just comical.
Think about what today's date is. We're recording on June 27th. I'm assuming we're going to get this out pretty quick.
Yeah, and also June 27th, let's just, be respectful. Happy belated birthday to you.
Thank you.
Happy. I saw you on your birthday, but our podcast listening also, and then happy belated birthday to our missing cohort, Peachy.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
And then a happy belated birthday was yesterday, Fico.
Yeah.
So, and to anybody's birthday.
Yes, Fico.
And anybody out there, happy birthday.
Yeah. Mine's threw me off guard. It's been over a month.
I know. Well, listen, man.
I know. That's what happens when we don't record for a while.
Yeah. Hey, at least I saw you on your birthday, so I was happy about that.
Yeah.
What the heck was I saying before then? Sorry.
Well, I'll since you forgot where we were going, you were saying it's funny how we went from Ambrose to Moxley.
Oh no, that's what it was. The Moxley interview. I don't think I don't think that was the catalyst that started to be like, oh, hey, we need to hire Heyman and Bischoff as these creative directors or things like that. I think it's been it's been probably in the works. I think it just helped reinforce it, and I think it's just something that Fox essentially said they wanted to do something different, and then the way AEW's been presented, I think that was the bigger one.
Yeah.
they needed to do something to switch it up, to change the game a little bit so that it would be compelling for people to come and watch.
Well, I think now, and again, I can only base this off of all this being legitimate. Like I said, there's a little voice in the back of my head saying, "This is all for show. Don't get your hopes up." We literally, I think one of the last episodes we did before this hiatus was about the whole change for the people and stuff like that when they came out on Raw, and we were talking about how big of a load of shit that was probably going to be.
Oh God,
which it had come to, and ever since that, and again, you want to say, okay, it's not reaction to the interview, but no, honestly, ever since the interview, it's come out that a lot of people in the backstage are unhappy and agree with them. That people who aren't backstage are unhappy. Were unhappy. Seth Rollins has tried his hardest to become the company puppet on Twitter, which has been painful to watch. I don't know if they're going for a Becky Lynch Twitter type thing, but there's something about the way he's been responding, like him and Will Ospreay has been going back and forth, and then Seth Rollins brought up his bank account compared to Will Ospreay. I don't know if you've seen any of that or not.
I've been watching it. Like, I haven't followed every single tweet.
Like, that's been painful to watch. The guy that's supposed to be like the leader of your company looks like a fucking showboat a little bit. And I understand it's the company he's now the head of, and he needs to defend it. But I don't think he's going about it in the right way. And it just looked like they're trying to react. And do I believe that Evolve being streamed is a little bit in reaction to AEW? You're damn straight it is. I don't give a fuck what they say. It absolutely is. And I was reading one thing. They said AEW is going to have to get over it because this is what's going to happen. WWE sees them as a threat. And I don't care what WWE says. They see them as a threat. You wouldn't be trying to sign guys for 5-year deals when you normally sign them for 3. You wouldn't be trying to re-up with guys on bigger contracts than you normally would pay them if you didn't see AEW at least as somewhat of a threat. And I'm not saying AEW is going to take over. I'm not saying it's going to be WCW, WWE. But in my mind, what they're doing right now shows that they believe AEW is a threat.
Oh, yeah.
If this is legitimate and they're doing this, and you could throw out the XFL thing where there was the rumors that Vince was going to separate the two. And how do you fully run a football organization like the XFL and WWE?
You know what?
I know Vince McMahon doesn't sleep, but
hold on. You mentioning that is interesting. Do you think the failure of the AAF is what caused him to more so maybe do this?
I think that could have contributed a little bit. I think Vince seen that he needed to be more hands-on with that. Because last time that was probably one of his bigger failures was because he wasn't as hands-on with it or was trying to juggle it too much. So you think maybe this time he kind of realizes that I probably need to be more hands-on with the XFL. So let me hand it over to two guys that had success running wrestling TV shows that will listen to him, that won't go completely, that they will push the limit. Like that's why you go with Bischoff and Heyman. Because listen, Heyman's a company guy now. Like Heyman's not going to go do anything super crazy, I think. But he's also
he'll push the boundaries, but he's not going to like.
Wait a second. Is that breaking news? Heyman's bringing back Super Crazy.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I'm sorry.
The what? What was it? What was it? The LWO or the Mexican what was the?
He might have been LWO. I'm trying to remember who was the group that came down on the
tractors,
the riding lawnmowers.
The Mexicools.
Probably.
I think that's what they were.
I don't know.
So Will Ospreay also. This was not the shirt I was looking for, but he has a new shirt available that I might buy. It says Will Ospreay, little frickin' guy, burn Twitter down. This is the one thing I love about like the independent wrestling scene. They can do stuff like this and have a new shirt up like that in less than a day.
Yeah.
One.
Speaking of the independent scene, real quick before, because I kind of got off with that whole Twitter thing, is
now you got off by it. Nice.
Yes.
Nice. Clean yourself up.
I do believe this is a little reaction to WWE seeing where wrestling is going, and I think NXT becoming almost a bigger event than WWE's pay-per-views has shown it a little bit. That, like, they can take out a bunch of their top guys year after year, and yet NXT is still almost as sought after as than the pay-per-view. Even when it comes around to WrestleMania, you know, you're almost looking forward to the NXT event, the TakeOver event, as much as the WrestleMania event itself. And now you have that, you have AEW, you have these organizations that are a little bit more typical wrestling than sports entertainment that are actually chipping away at them a little bit. And you see the pictures. I mean, we're not crazy to not say that you see all these events and you see all these blacked out seating and stuff, and it's nothing new when it comes to smaller venues. That's not new.
I'm curious.
WWE, but it's crazy to see, like, they're not even filling up half stadiums now. And
dude, I'm curious what the Extreme Rules show is going to be like in Philly.
Yeah,
because Philly's a big wrestling town. I would say probably like the third or fourth in the country. Right. I want to put it up there, but like Chicago, I feel, especially now with AEW, that's more buzz. New York is New York, so but yeah, like it's right there. But so, but did you see the card yet for Extreme Rules? Because I might go to it now. You're getting Taker and Reigns versus Shane and McIntyre.
Right.
And I'm considering going just because of The Undertaker. Kofi versus Samoa Joe. As much as people were shitting on it for the third time, I actually like it. The tag match, but with Rollins and Becky Lynch versus Corbin and what the hell's her name? Lacey Evans.
Yeah.
I actually don't mind that. Right. It's the same feud. It's a little bit different though, so.
Yeah, it's almost like having because it's the winner take all stipulation, so it's essentially the same two matches, just now as a tag team.
Which I like. I like that. It's a little bit different. Yeah. But like I might go now if tickets are cheap enough, and if I want to stay up past.
Probably will be.
If I want to stay up past 9:30 on a Sunday night.
I should probably notice. When is it?
The 14th, I think. July 14th.
Yeah, okay. That's when I'm coming back from the shore, so.
Yeah, it's the day after Evolve because all the NXT peeps are going to Evolve for that one. And listen, I'm very excited for Riddle versus Gulak.
Yeah, I would have rather went to that. Let me know what you decide though, because I don't remember how many days I took off of work. I might have taken that Monday off too, and if I did. Yeah,
I'll let you know.
I might be interested. It depends on how.
I'm probably only going to.
They are, but
I'm probably only going to go to one of those shows that weekend.
Yeah,
but I'll keep you informed, and I'll keep our viewing audience because everyone's looking at us. I mean, our listening audience.
Oh yeah, they're going to want to know.
Yeah,
but
so what do you think? So we really didn't talk about this coming into it. It was just more like you said today, holy shit, we need to record an episode.
Yeah.
And so what do you think is the single biggest thing that has to happen for this to work? Let's remove the obvious to where Vince lets them run it. Like, let's say Vince doesn't get involved. Like, we'll keep that out because I think that's the biggest thing for this to possibly even in an attempt to succeed.
Yeah, we're saying perfect world. Vince gives them 100% control. He says, treat this guy as if they're me. I'm going off to deal with football.
Yep,
see you later.
He's not involved. So now it's Bischoff and Heyman essentially working with Triple H also because of call-ups and things like that. What do you think is the single biggest thing they need to do for this to work?
I think that the biggest thing they need to do, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, is they need to start treating them as separate entities. They need this to be Paul Heyman versus Eric Bischoff. They need, like you said, to deal with the draft and all that stuff. They need it to be almost like a ratings thing. You know, you need to feel like it was the old GM mode of, I guess at the time,
Raw versus SmackDown.
Right?
I forget which one, but yeah.
One of them. You know, you have to have that feeling that each and every week, the matches they're having are mean something. And to be honest with you, if they really want it to go full-fledged, I mean, they need to get rid of this fucking wildcard rule. They need to get rid of this 2 out of 3 falls match thing. I understand what they were trying to do with it. I'm assuming you've seen that.
Yeah, no commercial breaks.
Yeah, no commercial breaks. So now there's more 2 out of 3 falls matches.
You know what the best thing they did with that, and I don't know why they don't do it more, is when they do the screen and screen.
Yeah.
Like on SmackDown, I don't know if I've seen it on Raw, but on SmackDown, they just break out the commercials, the bigger screen, and just on the right-hand side is the smaller screen of you can watch the action. That's perfect.
What the hell happened to when you'd be at an event and we'd be sitting at Raw and somebody would get thrown to the outside and then they'd walk around the outside and yell at the fans?
Yeah.
For like a couple minutes and you're like, they're on commercial break. Like, why can't it go back to that? Like, why does there need to be wrestling during commercial breaks? And why can't that just happen? I'd rather that than 2 out of 3 falls matches, than 11-minute matches. Like, they can't extend. I appreciate more matches fitting into the card, but let's say you have a match like a Ricochet and AJ Styles, like we just had on Raw. That match needs its time. And to give it to us, and I guess you're giving us a taste under the assumption that there goes another match, probably for Extreme Rules, is AJ Styles versus Ricochet.
Yeah, that's right, because that was another reason why I was considering going too, because...
Yeah. So, but like, I guess on one end, having them only be 11 minutes means you're not going to get the same match as we've seen with, who's it, Seth Rollins, Dolph Ziggler, where the match on Brawl was actually longer than the Iron Man match at the pay-per-view. But I think they need to do away with them, and it needs to be Paul Heyman versus Bischoff. You need to actually feel like what they're doing.
We need to feel like Survivor Series actually matters.
Yeah, we need to feel like every move they're making is for the betterment of their show, to keep their fucking job, because Vince is eventually going to, fire them. That's what you need to have, that feeling. And I don't care if you get some fake Meltzer giving the matches star ratings and shit like that. You start throwing stuff out there. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you need to start appeasing the crowd a little bit, because what you're doing now is not working. And I don't know if you go full-fledged into the smart fandom, I guess, but you do something. You give us something that feels like wrestling, because what they're giving us now doesn't. And it sucks to know that the most interesting thing on WWE programming over the past couple of months is a gimmick that was thought it might have been canceled after the very first promo.
It's been so good. We're talking about the 24/7, right?
Yes.
Oh my
24/7.
Okay. Like, it's been so good.
That's not what I was talking about. But
oh, really? What have you been talking about?
Bray Wyatt.
Oh.
There was rumors of that getting canceled after the very first one.
Oh.
But that thing, his whole lead-in with, and 24/7 rule has been great. It has gotten guys on TV without having them doing...
EC3 finally won his first championship.
But they're not sitting in the back like having a barbecue, and that's how you get guys on TV. It's silly and it's fun, and you know what? They have the perfect guy leading that up because R-Truth is hilarious, and he gets to lead it up. And you know what? They get to break in for 3 minutes with the title, and then break away, and it's okay.
But this is what the thing. This is my like. You need more of that. Like not like some of that goofy stuff you need to have in there, and I love it. And it's
and there you go, right there. The two biggest things that we just talked about WWE programming is Bray Wyatt acting as Mr. Rogers, an evil Mr. Rogers, dancing and doing exercise songs.
By the way,
all this stuff he's doing.
By the way, you bought your shirt at the wrong time.
I know.
You should have got the muscle. Was it the Muscle Man shirt or whatever?
I wanted to get. Jared texted me, and the chainsaw one is what I wanted, and it went on sale, and the 3X was like one of the first ones to go. So, but think about that. The two things we're talking about that's probably the best thing going with WWE right now is the two goofiest things they're doing. That just goes to show you that they can be goofy without being like Vince McMahon. I think a guy shitting himself in the middle of the ring is funny. They can still be out there. The New Day used to make me laugh, and at times they still do. Not everything needs to be serious, but some of it does.
Dude, I might put this Wyatt Jim tank top in my and buy it right now. It's so good. It's so good.
But that's what and I posted this while we were on hiatus, and actually I got something from Damian Sandow who did not seem to appreciate that I didn't call him cool. But I said, what I had posted, and I don't remember who exactly I tagged in it when I did, but I said, if anything, Bray Wyatt, Damian Sandow, Bo Dallas, and I'm talking about his gimmick where he used to run around the ring, and he had that, those gimmicks, they show, as Zack Ryder, they show you that you don't need to be Austin, like badass borderline heel face to get over. You just don't. You need a good story. Yeah. That's and be good at what you're doing. Damian Sandow could have won the title. He could have won the world title with how over he was, with literally just reacting to the Miz, like being his body double in the outside of the ring. I used to watch Sandow instead of watch the Miz during his match. I can't remember, it might have been the Mark Henry John Cena, the pink suit pay-per-view that was here. Salmon. Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank. And hell, it might even have been the Money in the Bank match, I don't remember. But I remember just watching Sandow on the outside of the ring. No, come on, man. If you don't remember... Mizdow. Yes. No, not even Mizdow. That Money in the Bank was a collection of former Money in the Bank winners all going for the title, and it was the return of Rob Van Dam. Okay. And also, speaking of Damian Sandow, you're thinking of the wrong pay-per-view. Because that's the pay-per-view Damian Sandow won the Money in the Bank. No, he didn't. Yes, he did. I bet you $50 right now. He won the SmackDown Money in the Bank ladder match. Because it was going to be Cody, and it was when Cody and Sandow were the tag team. I forget what their name was. Sandow won it. Look it up. I'll entertain the audience with my expertise. So, just for those keeping update, I have turned off the Democratic National Debate just because... wow. Yeah. I know, I'm right. What pay-per-view am I thinking of them? It might have been the Rumble. The Roman Reigns Rumble? Yes, the Roman Reigns Rumble. Okay. Either way, I remember just watching him while he was Yes, it was the Roman Reigns Rumble because when he came in or something like that, he got
thrown out or something like that right when the Miz got thrown out, and it was funny. So it was the Roman Reigns Royal Rumble. I'll confirm that.
Even if he didn't become the champion, you could have seen the Miz become the champion with that gimmick, and have Sandow walking around and then eventually turn on him, or Miz turn on Mizdale. But like, it was goofy and it was out there, but he was over.
Yeah, it was the 2015 Royal Rumble. It was the Usos versus Mizdale and the Miz.
Yeah, because I remember there was times where like the Miz would get knocked down, then he'd go over for a tag, but Mizdale also got knocked down on the side, and he wasn't there, and it was hilarious, and he made something so stupid work, and get over, and it just shows that stupid can work if you have the right person, and you follow through with it. That's the thing; they need to follow through with it. That Bo Dallas gimmick is still one of my favorite gimmicks. And the fact that they gave up on it so quickly, it still to this day annoys me. Could he have been a heavyweight champion? Probably not. But couldn't you see him running around with like the Intercontinental titles, talking about being like this long running champion? Winning a match by roll up and just running around with the title. That had possibilities that like instead. You get the B team out of them. Some of these guys like Breeze and Fandango made their gimmick work. And some of the best segments on SmackDown was their fashion police stuff.
Oh yeah.
And what you get out of it, nothing. In the long run, nothing. Breeze is back at NXT. I mean,
which
you
is
got
not
nothing out of it.
But that's the thing. I don't consider that going back down to NXT. I don't consider that going back down. It's just a separate brand now. And but that's where
when you look at the way things are, when that team's as hot as it is, why are you not
capitalizing?
Why are you not capitalizing on it? And that's where my hope is that a guy like Heyman and a guy like Bischoff is going to understand, I would hope, that who is over and who's not. Who makes sense, and Bischoff might be a bad example, and that's the thing that's the real issue here is Heyman. I feel like has proven that he'll push the guys that the fans want, and I think he's proven it over some time.
Heyman also, I think, has his finger on the pulse, maybe a little bit more with Bischoff. I haven't listened to Bischoff's podcast. I don't know.
No.
Really much like what he's doing, but like so Heyman might have his pulse on the pulse a little bit better on how to push these guys.
Yeah.
Bischoff, yes, I'm nervous. I'm very nervous, but the thing is, but this is where I think Bischoff is going to be fine, because Bischoff is like, listen, if he does something like the NWO again, but it's going to be like the Undisputed Era. And I think Bischoff is going to be able to handle that better than what Vince would be able to, because you have one guy for Heyman, we're Raw, and Bischoff on SmackDown, focusing on a much smaller roster set than a Vince McMahon wearing about 2 full roster sets of figuring out what to do with each one. Yeah. They can now better hyper focus on each individual to get better storylines and things like that, and allowing it to like grow naturally. So Bischoff is the one that makes me nervous a little bit more, just because he hasn't really been involved in it,
and he hasn't done himself any favors, to be honest with you, because WCW at the time was an aging roster where he pushed the aging guys that people knew, and maybe at that point he already seen the writing on the wall and he was going for one last ditch. I don't know, but then his time with TNA didn't help things, and maybe that wasn't him.
That was because it was him and Hogan.
Yeah, but you just don't know. You don't know how much of it was him, how much of it was Hogan, how much of it was them wanting to do stuff where TNA was like, no, we need to bring in as many ex-WWE guys as we can. You don't know who did what. I can only go off of the 2 examples I have of Eric Bischoff, who reportedly was running the show at both of these places, and go off that. And like you said, at least Heyman's kind of been around it.
But
Bischoff's
also,
just been podcasting about it.
Your one example, though, that you're just to play devil's advocate, it goes with Paul Heyman as well. You only have one example of Paul Heyman running a show.
Yeah, but apparently he was running the ECW with WWE. At one point, he was running SmackDown.
Yeah.
For WWE. I think he had more control when he was with WWE than Bischoff ever did. I think Bischoff was more of an on-air.
Oh, Bischoff was. I believe he was strictly on air.
Yeah,
that was the only way.
That's what I mean. Is Heyman at least has had things where he's butted heads with Vince, where they put him in control in WWE, and then he's lost his job.
The plane ride of the plane ride of doom, whatever the hell they called it.
That's what worries me too. Is I'd love to see Heyman get his hands on the Undisputed Era and see what he does, with them. I would, to be honest with you, I'd love to finally see a McIntyre Reigns feud for a title. There's
that's the thing. That would be a good feud, but now it's it's wasted.
It's getting
already.
Jumbled up with Shane McMahon and Invest in the World and stuff like this.
Well, it's not even that. It got messed up, and this is what's shitty to say. It sucks that McIntyre was the one to get fed to Reigns after he came back from his cancer treatments and stuff like that, because it's McIntyre has no shot here. I would love to see a legitimate feud against these. I don't know who you could have put Reigns against at that point. McIntyre would fit, but it's just you're getting fed to the wolves here, to where who the hell's going to boo for Roman Reigns at this point?
Yeah, and that's you look at some of the guys they have, and it's just what are you doing with them? And I'm not even talking about a Kevin Owens, a Finn Balor. I'm not even talking about those guys. I'll talk about the typical Vince guys.
It'd be nice.
What the fuck's going on with Braun Strowman, Bobby Lashley, Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre? What the hell is going on with those guys that should be heading up these shows?
Oh,
should be the main events of these shows, and they're getting lost in a fucking tug of war and
was that
arm
real?
Wrestling match.
By the way, was that real?
Was
there a tug of war on Monday Night Raw?
I think it was another Firefly Funhouse.
What was I going to say? I was just about to ask a question. What show is Finn Balor on?
I think SmackDown.
Okay, because I was going to say maybe Bischoff brings in the Bullet Club, they actually now run with that. But now you have what they've been teasing with style. Here's the thing: Heyman or Bischoff could bring in the Bullet Club now, and I think they would pull that trigger to pull those guys together, and it'd be good. But then what the hell was I going to say? But then another match I forgot that is probably going to be at Extreme Rules is Balor versus Nakamura.
Yeah.
Which is but I don't know which Shinsuke we're going to get though.
Yeah. And that's the problem. And think about that. I feel like we've just named almost 10 guys that are lost in the shuffle, and that's without trying.
Yeah.
How can 90% of your roster be lost in the shuffle? I don't understand it. I don't get it. You gave us Kofi. You have Seth. There is no Brock Lesnar with the title, and somehow everybody feels lost on the roster. I just don't get it. The biggest storylines the biggest storyline has been Shane against The Miz. Think about that. Shane McMahon has probably been in the most consistent, straight-lined, not jumbled up, not lost in the shuffle storyline. Shane McMahon has been the one who's not been lost in the shuffle. Why, when you have the talent you do, and we've said this before, and I'll say it again, it's probably the most arguably, if not the most talented roster that they've had ever.
Oh, it's hands down. Not even a question.
Ever. And you want to go across NXT, all of them. This is probably the most talent they've ever had at their disposal. And they're falling into the same traps. I would love it if they came back and actually named... They got rid of this Ivar and Eric. And at least gave them their normal fucking names back. I've never seen them be handed filet and destroy everything. Cien Almas has he was the hottest thing coming up.
Here's the one thing.
How do you ruin that? How do you ruin these guys?
They haven't ruined Cien Almas yet, though, which is what I'm somewhat happy about. He's been solely involved. He's not completely buried yet, and he's in a lot smaller feuds. Which, for what I really like, how they've been handling him, because they didn't skyrocket him right to the top for him to plateau and fall down real fast. They haven't. They built him up a little bit with Finn Balor. I wish they would. I think it gives him a chance to revisit that. And it's a little bit more of a slow roll. It's been a longer slow roll than what it should have been, but yeah. They haven't completely lost track of him yet, which I'm happy about. Which I am happy about. And listen, he's dating Charlotte Flair. He ain't going nowhere. And plus his attitude with everything, how safe he is in the ring. He's their new Alberto Del Rio, but he's not Del Rio's personality.
Nah.
Everything you hear about him in the back, he's a nice guy. He plays well with others. The biggest thing is seeing him save people that take a botch or something like that, and he ends up catching them or falls the right way. He's doing everything right. He's buying his time.
I'm not saying he's going anywhere. I'm just saying I feel like they've missed the boat on so many guys that it's just hard for me to think that this is any type of plan for them and not just where they're sticking them. And let's hope at SummerSlam Bray Wyatt comes out, does some weird Firefly Funhouse thing, and wipes everything clean. He just No, I'm not saying that's when he makes his first appearance. I'm saying he comes out, does some voodoo in the ring, wipes everything clean, and then the next Monday we have a draft.
Yeah,
we're supposed to forget about everything that happened. It's all been one big Firefly Funhouse now for years, and we're now waking up to real wrestling.
And then it's just Bob Hope in bed with what's her name as the Bob Newhart show. Or no, was it Bob Newhart?
What?
Yeah. It's never mind. For those that get the reference will understand it. You don't. What was I going to say? No, the one thing I think, and you touched on it, is that they need to have separate storylines. They just need to be completely separate, have no interaction with each other, and then they come together at Survivor Series. I really like how Survivor Series is now. I like how it's the champions versus champions and Raw versus SmackDown. I love it. I think, especially when they're kept separate, I think it's a great storyline because my biggest issue always with the Survivor Series matches, it was always these hodgepodge of talent put together that kind of makes sense because they're all good guys and kind of makes sense because they're all bad guys, but doesn't really. At least on the Raw versus SmackDown side, you get some heels and faces on the same team that you can tell they don't like each other. You see them have differences in the matches, but they're coming together for their brand as the overall, this is for the greater good. And that's great. I love the title versus title matches. It's good and bad because, especially when it's Lesnar was the champion, he beat Styles and Bryan, which they put on great matches with him, but it's Styles could use a win here. Bryan could use a win there right after he beat Styles for the title, and you didn't see that. So I really like how they do that, and I think that's what they need to do is keep it separate, and and they just need to be given time. I think they need I don't think there's going to be any rash decisions made here. I think they have at least a year. I don't think it's going to be because here's the thing, ratings really aren't going to go any lower. I mean, they can, but they're already in the bottom, so it's at this point, might as well try something.
Yeah, I think right now they're grasping at straws,
but here's the thing: I think they need a big ratings boost. I think they're starting this now because they need to start before AEW starts.
Yes,
because they need to have. They want to have that stuff in place so they already have some consistent ratings. So people are okay, I'm going to tune in on Monday and Friday for this. Right. I think the biggest thing to WWE's benefit, as well as AEW's benefit, is that AEW said they're not going to go head-to-head which is good. I think that's overall good for all of wrestling because then it allows you to kind of, if you want to watch wrestling each day of the week, you can.
Yeah.
So I think that's overall going to be just really good for all those guys. But yeah, just keep them separate, have them come together when it actually matters. You could run, if you want to run storylines of people crossing over, that's fine, but have it make sense, like Bullet Club. Like if you have I'm trying to think, if Adam Cole comes up, well, he's with the Undisputed Era. I'm trying to think, who's someone else? Is anyone else in WWE had been in Bullet Club?
I
don't
not
think
that I can think of.
Not that I can think of either. Like other than like Haku, Jeff Jarrett, I think was a member of Bullet Club. Like those Hogan wasn't. I don't think. I know they wanted Hogan on there, but like if you had like another person like them, like in Bullet Club, and you have Bullet Club on SmackDown and Bullet Club on Raw, kind of like how they do in New Japan and Ring of Honor. Like Adam Cole for the while was the head of Bullet Club in Ring of Honor, and Omega was in New Japan. Like something like that to where that storyline makes sense.
I could see them doing the club on let's say Raw, and then Undisputed Era on SmackDown, and kind of having that like Cole talking about how this has been more dominant than anything I was. You know what I mean? Oh, you almost have where
like
it's
the Nexus and the Core
spanning across almost against each other a little bit,
like the Nexus and the Core.
Yeah, except better.
Okay.
Because they're already two established groups. You know, they're already established.
And
Undisputed Era has established itself without needing to jump off of the Bullet Club.
Yeah. So. Oh man! All right. So, do you think it's going to work?
I hope to God it does, but I still.
Do you think Vince
I have
is going to have
that little
his hand?
inkling in the back of my head saying it's a gimmick. It's a gimmick, and ratings will go up a little bit until you start seeing the same old shit. And it's unfair to Bischoff and Heyman because they're not going to be able to just stop what's been going on. Like you said, they need time. You can't. It doesn't make sense to just stop the storylines.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, these guys are not feuding anymore, and it's hard to make every single storyline turn the shit that we're seeing into gold. Every single one's not going to be able to. And I just hope that it gets better over time. But I feel like we've been fed this story before, and it's just one more ploy on their part to grab headlines.
I think with everything I've read today, it seems like it's real.
I'm not saying it's not real,
but I think it's real to where they're gonna let it play out.
Yeah, I hope so.
I think they're gonna let it play out. I think we have at least until the end of the year, or at least until like WrestleMania. We'll say that this is going to be a thing, and I think it's going to really show. And like, here's the thing: like, the funny thing is, it's like, oh, we want it to be Bischoff's show and it to be Heyman's show. Like, Bischoff might come out and write some shitty ass stories. I swear to God, if I see a taser in that fucking ring, I'm gonna kill someone.
I told you. That's worries me a little bit. He's a little bit more of a TV mind than a wrestling mind.
Which is fine.
Is that going to be better? I don't know. And the one thing I read, they said, and again, take it with a grain of salt, it was reported by Meltzer, but that apparently Fox did not know about this.
Really?
And that had they had the choice, Bischoff would not have been the one they went with.
Really? That's interesting.
Now, I don't know how true it is. Again, I just read it right before we came on. But in my mind, it makes more sense because Bischoff does have the TV background. I feel like Fox is going to want more of that, where USA's already used to the bullshit that's been coming out.
Well, it's more of the major network. Like, Heyman had that small stint on Spike.
Nah.
like TNT was a major player. It's still kind of, it's not as big as Fox.
But Bischoff, he has history with TV shows outside of wrestling too, where I think being with the bigger and Fox being with them, I think lends itself a little bit more to what Bischoff probably being a little bit more of a yes man to a network than Heyman. Where Heyman might butt heads and USA's given in so much already. Are they really going to butt heads with them now? So.
Alrighty, so we'll see what happens. We'll see when they come on air. I hope we see Bischoff on air. I just want to hear I'm back. That's all I want. But so coming up, our next episode, we're gonna try to actually release like 2 episodes in like 2 weeks, which is gonna be weird. Actually, it might be a couple episodes because I don't think we can cover everything in one episode.
No, I'm not sure how much I want to preview the whole thing or just talk about it in general.
It might be better in general, but we're talking G1. I am very excited.
That's what I said. I said Vince ruined this for us. That was the joke of the Kenny Omega tweet that he deleted.
Yes.
Was we had intended on coming back away from WWE. I think we've used WWE so far in this podcast as our crutch when we don't have anything else to talk about to go to WWE, and now we're trying to get away from, I guess, our comfort level a little bit, and especially mine more than you.
I know a little bit more than you.
Yeah, and I'm excited because the plan is for us to watch every match. Now, whether that happens or not, I don't know, but the plan is for us to watch every single match throughout this G1 Climax, is it 29?
Yeah.
Tournament, and to kind of cover it, and at the very least, we'll do some type of, we'll do an episode talking about before it, and I'm assuming we'll do an episode at the end of it at the very least. But then to top it all off, we had something exciting that I was going to announce on social media. This will probably be released before I ever get that actually out there, but
hopefully,
I'm going to announce this and it's never going to come out. We want to try to do a contest with everybody. We have a couple things that we're going to do giveaways with. And it's so funny because
we have giveaways.
Yes, it's so funny because it's this is a non-WWE competition, and it is a John Cena giveaway, but John Cena item.
You can give
from
it
one
to
of the WWE 2Ks.
Yeah,
it's back there somewhere. I'll be posting what it is though, and what we're going to do is we're going to have you predict every match to the G1 Classic. So have fun sitting there for half an hour figuring this all out. What did I say?
Classic.
Okay.
G1 Climax.
The G1 Classic Climax. So 91 matches you're going to have to guess with the great tiebreaker of how much total time is all these 91 matches going to have. And I have last year's total on there. It's like 21 hours and 45 minutes or some shit. But we're going to put that out there. So
hold on real fast because we didn't talk about this. You know what? I realized we could do probably even a better tiebreaker.
What?
Who the final's going to be, or is that the one match?
That's actually one of the questions. That's one of the questions at the end. I know I haven't technically shown you completely what I was doing, but my intention was 2 points for each one, and then there's going to be like drop downs at the bottom. And the funny thing is you would think if you pick a guy to win so many matches, he's automatically in there. But I'm going to leave it up to the people when they're predicting that you can predict somebody that win more matches and somebody else be the winner, because now you're almost hedging your bets a little bit.
Yes.
And I had 2 points for every win. If there's a draw in that match, you only get 1 point for that guy. And then it was going to be 5 points per block winner guessed right. And then 10 points for whoever the champion is. And you're just essentially picking A block or B block at that point.
And a little bit spoiler, if you want to try your best with the tiebreaker without going over. Do 45 hours and 50 minutes. Or no, I'm sorry, 45 hours and 30 minutes. 45 hours, 30 minutes. That will get you if every match is a draw. So.
Well, the championship can't be a draw. It was actually 35 minutes last year.
Oh, what? What was that?
Yes.
Wait, hold on. Don't tell me. Tanahashi versus Omega?
Was it Omega or Okada? Was it Omega?
I think it was Omega.
I think it was. But regardless.
But so real fast also, like, I just want to say, like, I'm not, so like you said, like, we're going to watch every match. Like, I want to watch it as a fan. That's my, like, I said
me
it
too. I want to, like, getting into it, and maybe us talking about it is going to get me into it.
I apologize. I was wrong. It was Tanahashi and Ibushi. So
I thought
Ibushi was going to win because Omega was the champion. Omega was the year before was Omega Naito. It was Tanahashi Ibushi because I thought Ibushi was going to win and set up Ibushi Omega as the final as your main event at oh my god Wrestle Kingdom to have the Golden Lovers.
Yeah.
So
I'm still finalizing the details. There will be some type of bonus points for picking out the winner and you know who wins each block. But essentially, that's what it's going to come down to: is 2 points for every winner. And I know you had brought up about predicting a draw, but to be honest with you, when I was looking back at it, at tops there's 2 out of 90 matches. There's 2, so if there's a draw, then that just means the most points you can get for the matches is 179 instead of 180. So yeah,
it was Okada.
We'll see how many people actually put in for it, and who knows? Maybe one person will take the time out to do it, and then they'll just get it by default.
The draw last year was Okada Tanahashi. I'm looking through now.
Okada Tanahashi is actually drawn twice, I believe.
Well, at least last year they were one of the draws, and I'm looking to see if
you look back the
one.
year before or a couple of years before, they also drawed again.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like that was the only draw last year. I just know it has happened before.
But see, it doesn't happen nearly. I know it's one of the things, but it doesn't happen as often as you would think for something that they say, hey, a draw is 1 point. And it's just me not really knowing this, and I think we'll have fun with it this year.
Okada Suzuki. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I want to watch as much of it as I can. I'm signing up for it. To get the New Japan. I'm just waiting for July to come in, so I only have to pay $20 instead of $30.
All right.
But I'm planning on watching them at work. I'll probably know the results probably even before I watch them, just because of how I do. So,
yeah.
But yeah, that should be coming up hopefully soon.
Yeah.
And hopefully we get this actually released soon. So.
Yeah, well, that's all on you, bud.
Yeah, I know. I'll try to get it edited tomorrow, because it ain't happening tonight.
Nah.
Well past my bedtime, so.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say in our return episode?
No, except I gotta go to work. I didn't miss this part of it. No, it is good. It's good to be back. I know we had a specific fan. I'll throw a shout out to him, Joey Rod. Texted me not that long ago and said, "Hey, what happened to the podcast?" I didn't know we had loyal listeners, outside of our moms. So I know my mom don't listen to it. I know what you're going to say. Your mom don't listen to it either. But it was nice to hear.
It's nice that as I always say, it's nice to feel wanted.
Yes, exactly.
It's nice to feel wanted.
And we should have a new logo coming out soon, stuff, little things I was working on that I hope to have done by next week's episode. And again, this big blood-sucking corporation had to...
Okay, relax with that. Just relax,
I know.
All right? We're at a 9. Let's take it to a 5, all right? All right, you're too excited. Also, I appreciate we both wore muscle shirts for this recording, which we did. So if you need tickets to the gun show, I can confirm they're not here. We do not have those. So All right, I got nothing else. I'm ready for bed.
All right.
We'll catch everyone hopefully next week with the G1 special.
Yeah.
And until then, thanks for listening. We'll catch you guys later. Have a good one. Peace. I forgot how to end the podcast too.